We're really excited to be facilitating this workshop. Today, we're going to be spending a little bit of time learning about how family and family engagement is situated in Bangladesh and Zanzibar, Tanzania. We are going to listen from our wonderful colleagues, Nasreen and Eshe, who will talk about the incredible work that they're doing to elevate family voice in school planning and decision making. And finally, we will end with a short interactive activity where we will hear from you about the different strategies that you are also using to actively bring families in as partners and collaborators in children's learning. So we'll start off with a short presentation from both our colleagues, and then we will jump right into an interactive activity. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our facilitators for today's workshop. Nasreen and Eshe, handing over to you to introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nasrin Siddiqa from Bangladesh. I am working as the President and Executive Director of NGO ECS Education and Cultural Society. And besides, I'm one of the Echidna Global Scholar of the Brookings Institution from 2019 cohort and working here for student education system transformation and definitely for the family engagement, which is highly required. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good evening. And this is Aisha Haji Ramadan. I am project manager for education program at Milele Zanzibar Foundation. And we are working to ensure every child in school accessing innovative learning opportunity. They learn and they enjoy for the fullest potential. So welcome to Zanzibar. Thank you.
This is just a little bit about their organization. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to read through that. Education and Cultural Society in Bangladesh is a non-governmental organization started by educators with the mission of supporting girls' equity in education and promoting STEM in school. And Milele Zanzibar Foundation is also an NGO dedicated to accelerating progress in the areas of health, education, and livelihood opportunities in rural and remote areas through holistic and sustainable development programs. Handing to Nasreen now to share a little bit about the context of Bangladesh.
Thank you very much, Richa. Hello, everyone again. I'm honored to be here today to discuss a critical aspect of education in Bangladesh. Richa, I'm audible. The role of families in school planning and decision making. So our research highlights both the challenges and immense opportunities for elevating family voices to improve student learning, well-being, and school success. So if you see the first slide here about the context of Bangladesh, Bangladesh is a country of 171 million people with more than 1/3 under the age of 18. So we currently have 9.4 million secondary school students, yet only 7% of the students attend public schools. The overwhelming majority are in private institutions, many of which are under-resourced. So completion rates remain deeply uneven. For lower secondary, 85% of girls complete compared with 66% of boys. And for upper secondary, the rates drop dramatically. So to 27% for girls and 32% for boys. These numbers are even lower in rural areas where poverty is more entrenched. And during our research, families repeatedly highlighted the pressures that pull children out of school, high educational costs, household financial instabilities, and early marriage for girls and work responsibilities for boys. These structural realities shape how families engage with schools and ultimately affect students' chances of completing their education, especially higher education and secondary level education, and why elevating their voices is so essential. So if I go to the next slide, that is that organization of education system. So I have to say that Bangladesh's education system is administered through multiple levels. At the top, the Ministry of Education and the Directorate of Secondary and Higher Education oversee policies and national priorities. This structure cascades into 64 district offices and 495 sub-district or upazila education offices. Below them are our 21,000 secondary schools, and almost 20,000 of these are private. So it's important to note that Bangladesh has no national family engagement framework, unfortunately. Family engagement is largely implemented at the school level, and policy expectations focus almost exclusively on participation in school management committees, that is SMCs. Our research and global evidence show that this narrow definition severely limits families' ability to partner with schools in meaningful ways. So especially when SMCs are not functioning inclusively, so limited the relationships between families, teachers, and students. So next slide, please. Yes, so if I say about Bangladesh research, to understand how families are truly engaging, ECS used the conversation starter tools in 14 secondary schools, both rural and urban. So we surveyed 535 families, 225 educators, and 972 students. Our sample reflects Bangladesh demographic realities, urban and rural communities, different educational levels, and diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. This research is special because families with low literacy were included. Our sample included participants from low-income rural areas, especially where dropout and early marriage are high. We collected data in Bangla and in local dialect as well through oral survey, home visits, and community support from youth volunteers. We engaged many youth volunteers in this research. So this is how we ensured that the voices of families who are usually unheard could guide the findings. This matters because it shapes both families' expectation of education and their ability to support learning at home. So it also highlights why schools must communicate in ways that are accessible regardless of literacy or digital access. So in the next slide please, yeah. School Management Committee, let me say something about SMCs. School Management Committees are the most prominent formal mechanism for family involvement. But historically, SMCs have been deeply political. They were chaired by political appointees and had significant influence over school budgets and decisions. A recent policy reform in 2025 removed political nominees, which is a positive step. Now, family representatives can participate regardless of their educational level, we hope. However, even with reforms, SMCs mainly focus on management, not partnership. They do not create space for listening to families, understanding their needs, or co-designing solutions. The reforms are a step forward, but families still need mechanisms that support partnership, not just governance. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. So, creating family-to-family communities, the third space. This is very interesting that in Bangladesh, we found families need support not only for academic information, but also for challenges that affect student learning and well-being. So we found they need support in food insecurity, STEM education, health issue, mental health stress, digital devices, social pressure like early marriage, child labor, and now definitely getting knowledge about generative AI. So our work therefore extends beyond school walls to build third spaces, safe community-based learning environment operated by civil society organizations, especially ECS's Jonaki Creative Learning Center is playing the role. And these centers provide supports for both students and their families in tutoring, well-being activities, entrepreneurship, digital skills, parenting guidance, and access to peer networking. We create opportunities for families to learn together, share struggles, and strengthen their capacity to support their children's education. We also help families gaining the confidence and skills needed to enter school spaces as informed partners. So school can amplify these by establishing strong PTAs and collaborating with community organizations so that students and families are never working alone. At its heart, elevating family voices means families supporting families, communities supporting students, and schools recognizing that this as a vital part of educational success. So in the next slide, please go. Yeah. So findings on families' engagement in practice. Our research showed that families, students, and educators have different beliefs about the purpose of education. Families and students see education as a pathway to higher studies and a better future. Educators emphasize economic, civic, and social emotional learning. So these differences matters because they influence expectations and communication. If families and teachers are working from different mental models and no one is facilitating conversation, misunderstanding prevent partnership. So one rural mother told us, I want my daughter to study, but I don't know. I don't understand what role I am supposed to play. No one tells us what is changing in our education system, why our involvement matters, and how we can actually support our children. So challenges for building family engagement in the next slide, please. Yes, so the challenges are real and structural. There is no shared national definition of family, school, and community partnerships. Engagement often means only receiving message or attending events. Families face structural barriers, financial constraints, lack of time, lack of devices or internet. Educators do not receive training on family engagement at any stage of their preparation. And families are not included in curriculum development, leaving them unsure how to support learning at home. So these challenges collectively limit meaningful participation and limit student success. I have to say here, these are not the failures of families. They are gaps in the system. Next slide, please. So levers of change. Definitely, we are expecting the changes, but we also see powerful levers of changes. So community learning centers, the third space, are creating opportunities for families to learn, connect, and become confident partners. Tools like the conversation starter tools and the global rubrics help schools assess their current practices and co-create plans with families. And the introduction of PTAs offers a real change to build a nationwide mechanism for family voice, one that completes the SMCs. So we are trying to adopt a comprehensive national policy on family engagement and mandate school planning process that meaningfully engage families, doing this thoughtfully while addressing poverty, mobility, technology gaps, and educator capacity would fundamentally shift the system toward family centeredness. So before concluding, I can say that Bangladesh's family have never lacked commitment. They have only lacked a seat at the table. If we listen to them, trust them, and plan with them, we can build an education system where every child not only stays in the school but truly thrives. Let us move from listening about families to listening with families, and from planning for them to planning alongside them. So that is the future we are working toward together. Thank you. Over to you, Richa.
Eshe, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Emily and Richa, for giving me this opportunity. I'm very honored to be part of this workshop. I would like to welcome everyone to Zanzibar, a Spice Islands. Zanzibar is in archipelago and semi-autonomous from Tanzania mainland, with approximately of 1.9 million people, and 48% of the total population are youth. When it comes to speaking about the education, Zanzibar has introduced free education since 1964 after the revolution of Zanzibar, and where they also introduced that from the pre-primary to the secondary as a compulsory basic education, where a children has to spend around 13 years in school, setting the age of 4 all the way to 18 years. and 91% of the students attending to the public institution, and the rest of the percentage, the one who enrolled in a private institution. However, the data show that the completion rate seems to decrease over the system. As the dates, as we've seen in the presentation, the data say that the boys at the rural seem to be at the risk compared to the girls and the boy in urban, because at the rural they engaged much in maybe in fishing or in supporting their parent in agriculture and something like that. Next slide, please. Okay, yeah, thank you. In terms of organization and education system in Zanzibar, the education system has 3 main levels. Starting from the bottom up, we have over 12,000 schools, pre-primary to secondary, both in private and government schools, the total school that we have. And all of these schools are located in within the 11 districts, where the district education officer are the one who the person who are responsible to oversee those schools. And then they were reported to the Ministry of Education at the high level for decision-making and action to take in at the ground roots. Coming to the schools and family partnership, the components, we have observed that this the components of family schools partnership falls under the bigger concept of the community engagement. However, it doesn't well articulated in the policies on, or even in the ministry plans. The way it's designed by the Ministry of Education was just like a platform of providing information about the child education, and not all about the decision making and leadership were presented under the SMCs. And we have also realizing a lot of challenges and some gaps around the schools management committee. As Nasreen has spoken, we have realizing the same challenges around the SMCs, yeah, in Zanzibar also. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. So for us, Milele Zanzibar Foundation, we come up with a concept of the parent caregiver champions, so that to starting and making PTA in action, we feel like the concept of parents and caregiver champion is a very brilliant idea to start with, where we believe in parent as an expert, so that we think like this could be an opportunity to use the parent as a champion, as they are well aware about the challenge and the opportunity that are facing in their schools. So they will act as a mobilizer who can sensitize, who can mobilize their parent to be part, to take responsibility and be part in a schools. So we feel like we take this as an opportunity, so that these parents can be in a part of providing a solution. So it will be easy for them to come up with a solution, as they were very familiar with the situation that they are. So, but in order to make this very effective, we feel like we need to enabling them by enhancing them with their capacity, providing them with the tools, supporting them through mentorship and coaching, rewarding them so that we provide like to encourage them to continue to do what they already done in their community. So we feel like this is concepts can supporting merge to put in practice the parent-teacher association. Richard, can you go the next slide, please? Thank you. So coming to the research that we have conducted I think it was 3 years back. This research we conducted around within 9 districts out of 11 districts, because in Zanzibar we have 11 districts. So 9 districts out of them were being engaged in this research, and 48 conversation we were taking and through via schools, families, and together with the parents. And we were engaged in 16 schools, which is 75% from the rural. And as the data shown here, the numbers of parents who attended, it was 954. And it's shown here the difference between urban and rural. The 80.9% is from the rural and 19 from urban. Yeah, this is because we take much of the district, the rural districts. The remaining one is from the town. And also the data shown that the participation between the female and the male, and we have seen that most of female are engaged or participated in this. And this is the really situation that we have when we call the parents to attend some meeting at the schools. The majority of the parents are the female who respond to the call from the teachers. But we also, the data have shown the level of education for both for the teachers, where we've seen that most of the for the parent, and we've seen that most of the parents end up to secondary education. Next slide. So the findings that we get from that research was the family and educator have a different vision on the family involvement or engagement. And the involvement, when we talk, when the side of the parents, the involvement should be on supporting their children to learn and making follow-up by communicating with the schools, maybe paying schools fees. At the end, or ultimately, they want to ensure that the performance of their kids are improved and they are excelling to higher education. While in terms of educator, their vision in involvement was supporting the student to get good job and earning money so that they can support their family. But also when we talk about the interaction, there is a notion that the secondary students, they are grown up, and this notion was for both, for the parents and for the teachers. They feel like the secondary students, they are grown up and they were able to control themselves. They don't need much support or close supervision and regular follow-up compared to the primary and the pre-primary students. So due to that notion, the teacher seems to communicate with the parents of this age to discuss about the examination only, or if whether there is any emergence arising, so that they just call the parent to come to the schools. But also, parents seems to have higher trust to the teachers. They feel like teachers are experts and they know everything. So they feel like, so they left their kids to the teacher and give them the full, and they have a full confidence that they were in a right place and they were safe. But this it seemed like a difference when in term of this in term of the teacher, their level of the trust is very low. They feel like a parent, they don't know anything that they can support their kids to learn. So we can see there is a very different in term of trust. There is someone who trusts them, their fellow very much, and there is a one that they don't trust much. Yeah. And lastly, there is a negative notion also to the parent. They believe when they were called to the school to attend maybe the meeting at the school, they feel like there is only a problem, that maybe they were asked, they were asked to contribute. So like for that, they decided to disagree coming to, or to respond to attend the meeting at the school, or to be engaged in a school or in a child education. Next, please. Yeah. In terms of the challenge, we have a similar challenge with the Bangladesh, but for us, the difference is there is no central vision on how to engage family beyond the school management committee. This means there is no guideline, a clear guideline that can support partnership, where the parents are presented by very selected parents through the SMC. So that they coming on behalf of their fellow parents. So the challenge here was the voice of minority and not the majority of the parents are heard. So we feel like the majority of the parents, they're not heard. They didn't get an opportunity to express themselves. They didn't get opportunity to be engaged. So this is the main challenge that we also we feel, and we think like to reduce this situation can in some way or another, it can reduce the accountability of the parents, and will be continue to make them be reluctant and not participate fully in their child education. But secondly, in Zanzibar, many parents are uneducated, or as we see in the data, they finish at the primary level. So few of them are reached in a secondary education. So it's a bit a challenge for them to be able to support the children, to support the learning of their children at home. And another challenge was there's a lot of constraint that parents faced that act as a barrier for them to be part or to participate in or to engage themselves in child education, including limited time, financial constraint, and many others. And also the experience shown that the parents were only called when there is a problem for them to solve, rather than partnership, sitting in a table, discussing some issue, trying to solve the issue together. So it was just like one way of communication, and not like a two-side of communication. And also there is a capacity issue to teacher to attend the parents. Majority of the parents, they don't have enough skills on how to run partnership with the family, how to communicate, how to make this partnership be active. So this is the challenge that we have realized or learned through this study. Next, please. And coming to live out the change, when we seek, we normally seek to change. And for us, we feel like there is 3 areas that we can invest on it, so that we can improve the situation that we are currently experiencing. The first one is about the system, at the system level. At the system level, we feel like we need to advocate for policy change and practice. In this component, we need to have a discussion with the ministry on this area, on what to do, how to do it, and where we can support and where we can partner with them. But also at the CSO and other NGOs level, we need to engage with other NGO or other CSO who are working with the community, having like a consortium program with others so that we can contribute on efforts and raising awareness to the community so that they can be realizing the importance of them to be part in child education. And at the community level, we also feel like we need to support the parents, enhancing their capacity. Specific, we have already, as we have introduced the parent caregiver champion, retooling them, taking them, enabling them to take a lead in planning, designing, and communicating with their fellow parents. We believe like if we put them in at the center of the problem, that we could be a best person that can provide a solution if they were aware with the opportunities and the challenge within their schools and the community at large. Thank you very much.